What's going on, everyone? So one of the things that was rather concerning up until this point, the Los Angeles Lakers hadn't worked out anybody that could potentially be drafted with the 17th pick. Now, they've worked out a bunch of guys, but they've all been projected undrafted to the 55th range type guys. And it's like, okay, that's great, but the 17th pick, like what's going on with that? And a lot of the thought process was like, hey, the Lakers are drafting Bronny with the 17th pick. That's why they're not working anyone out with 17th pick. But one, what if Bronny is gone? And two, we just got a report from Woj that says that the Lakers have no plans of drafting Bronny at 17. That they still want Bronny. If they can, they're still going to work it out to draft Bronny, but they're not going to do it with the 17th pick. Now, I am still in the camp of I fully believe the Lakers trade the 17th pick. I think that that's very likely gone. It's why I keep telling everybody, like, hey, if there's somebody at 17 that you love, don't fall too in love with them because they're probably gone. Even if the Lakers draft that guy, they're probably trading him at some point if they can. So anybody that you want the Lakers to draft at 17, don't fall too in love with because that guy's probably gone. Okay, just keep that in mind. But still have to do your due diligence. You still have to try to work out guys and find somebody at 17 because, like, what happens if a trade doesn't develop? What if you're not able to move it, right? Like, so then you don't want to be there and it's like, oh, well, now let's just throw a dart on the board and hope it lands on somebody. Well, now we're getting news that the Lakers are starting to work out guys. So Zach Edey, the center that many people want to see the Lakers draft, he's kind of projected in that like 15 to 20 range. Right, a lot of mock drafts, a lot of like experts have talked about him, probably in that 15 to 20 range. And he's a guy that a lot of people really want to see the Lakers land, right? He's 7'4" with 7'10" wingspan. He's a big mountain of a man, right? Like, he makes a lot of sense. He is a guy that is about as close to NBA ready as possible. Like, he's a guy that you can plug in right now and have an impact. Right? Like, he can score, he can rebound, he's just so big and massive. He's going to just be a deterrent at the rim. I mean, look at like what Victor Wembanyama's doing. And look, I'm not saying that he's going to be anything close to the defensive specialist that Victor is. Victor is a true alien, and he has the athleticism and just the quickness and just the recovery time and just the hand speed and all that stuff. But I mean in the sense of just the deterrent. Right? I just wanted to be clear. I don't mean that they're going to be comparable as far as like their abilities on the defense side. Plus, Victor can step out, all that stuff, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I mean in the sense of like you saw players would drive to the basket, and then just Victor being in the paint was a deterrent because he's just so big and long, right? So it's a very similar thing when you're talking about a guy that has a 7'10" wingspan. Players are just going to naturally be like, do I really want to try to shoot over the top of that? Or do I want to get a better look, better play, right? So Zach Edey makes a lot of sense. He's a guy that offensively I think can come in, make an impact immediately. You can dump the ball down to, he can go to work, hit the little elbow, right? The idea is to eventually be able to put him in a position to be able to stretch the floor a little bit. Him slotted alongside Anthony Davis, I think would be beautiful, right? Talk about some real size, some real length. Anthony Davis is the help defender on the blind side. Whoo, like, sign me up, right? Zach Edey, I do think makes a lot of sense. The guy is very skilled, very fine. He's an older guy, right? 22, which the Lakers love those kind of guys. They love the older guys in the draft because they're more ready-made, they're more mature, right? They have a better understanding. They're more willing to buy in and accept roles, right? So the Lakers kind of, everything Zach Edey is kind of checks off for the Lakers, and the Lakers need a big man. And preferably a big man that can make an impact right away. Now, there are some cons with Zach Edey, right? Particularly, can he translate to the NBA level? We have seen a lot of players have excellent careers in college and not be able to translate to the NBA level. Right? We've seen lots of centers that have had skill sets and have runs very similar to what Edey has been able to have, and he's not. Zach Edey's closer to a traditional center than he is the modern stretch the floor type center. Now, again, he still can grow and develop. He still has some real value. To me, Zach Edey, I look at as like a bigger Ivica Zubac, right? He's not really going to stretch the floor very much, but he can knock down the elbow. He can knock down like the free throw line extended, right? He can dump the ball down to him. He can go to work on the offensive side. I think Zach Edey is better and more refined than Ivica Zubac is, but I do think he's a guy that immediately can help with the rebounding, immediately help with the interior defensive, just getting him being a big body. A lot of people want him to stop Jokic. He's not stopping Jokic. Jokic is going to eat him alive. But he is a big body that you can throw and just kind of hopefully wear him down and, give some hard fouls. And he's not going to get moved the way that, an Anthony Davis or some of these other guys can. Right? So, again, there's a lot of pros. But can Zach Edey translate to a actual high caliber NBA level guy? I think worst case scenario, he could be a solid backup coming in, giving you 15 to 20 minutes a game, which is fine. Not everybody has to be a superstar. Not every guy has to be a 30 and 15 guy, right? But I think even off the bench, I think he could easily be a 12 and 8 guy in 15 to 20 minutes a game as the primary backup, right? But the idea is eventually can he move into that starting role to where you're able to move AD, like LeBron retires or he leaves or whatever, AD shifts over to the 4, Zach Edey plays the 5. Is he going to be able to translate to an NBA level to be a starter? Because he doesn't have the foot speed. Teams are going, especially come the playoffs, are really going to go at him. I mean, you're even seeing guys like Rudy Gobert, right? Who 4-time Defensive Player of the Year just getting cooked. And teams are targeting him and putting him through the spin cycle. Right? Zach Edey, he's not this quick, mobile, can come out and move his feet laterally and, and defend the pick and roll and all that stuff. Right? Like teams are going to go after him on the defensive side when he's on the court. Is he going to be good enough to not get played off the court is the question. Right? Because, look, great example, and I'm not saying that he's going to ever be that, but like Jokic. Jokic is not a very good defensive guy at all. Right? And teams try to go at him and target him regularly. One, Denver does a really good job of masking him. And two, Jokic is just so good and so impactful. It doesn't matter. You live with it. Right? Like, so can Zach Edey, again, not saying to the level of Jokic, but can he be that to where whoever our head coach is he going to be able to mask Zach Edey enough to where you don't have to worry about him as much on the defense side of things? Yes, there might be moments or stretches, but overall you can kind of hide him well enough. And also, will he have a big enough impact to where it makes sense to, you got to keep him off on the court. The guy's a 25, 12, and 3 guy or something like that. It's like, dude, even with the defensive liabilities, he's just too good to take off the court, right? That's a real question. We will see, right? But I do like the idea of Zach Edey. And I do think if he's available, I like the idea of taking him. I do think he's a guy that can make an impact now and the future. Right? Even if he's just a limited guy off the bench, giving you 10 to 15 minutes a game. Right? Because, look, as long as LeBron's on this team, more likely than not, LeBron's playing the 4. He's talked about it. Previous coach talked about it. The organization's talked about it. I know people want us to run 2 bigs and are hoping whatever coach comes in runs 2 bigs. Whatever coach comes in is probably not going to run 2 bigs because LeBron James is best at the 4 at this stage of his career. Can he play the 3 on occasion? Sure. Right? But more likely than not, whatever ends up happening, even if they drafted Zach Edey, he's probably not starting right away. Right? And again, they're probably going to trade the 17th pick. So even if they do draft Zach Edey, don't expect them to keep him. But going on the assumption that they do keep him, I don't think that he's going to be immediately the starting center for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think more likely than not, he comes in, he'll be the backup. Again, if you get a Dan Hurley as a head coach, one, he has spoken incredibly high of Zach Edey and has talked about how, he said if he isn't a lottery pick, I don't know what these people are doing, right? That he believes he's a top 10 pick minimum. So if they could end up landing Zach Edey and then you get Dan Hurley, I could see him really taking the time to grow and develop him into like a bona fide, maybe starting level center. But I do think the first year or 2, maybe longer, more likely than not, however long LeBron sticks around, which probably 2 or 3 years, I think Edey is coming off the bench. I think he is, he will start at times, right? LeBron's going to miss games. AD's going to miss games, right? So he'll probably start 30 to 40 games a season, right? Because all the games that LeBron misses, you can just slide AD to the 4 and put Edey at the 5. And then all the games that, Anthony Davis misses, LeBron stays at the 4, Edey is at the 5. So I think either way, I think Edey's going to get some experience as the starter, but I think push comes to shove, playoff stuff like that. I think Zach Edey is looking at, maybe 15 minutes a game. I think Anthony Davis will be your starting center. I think he'll be your primary guy. And I think Zach Edey will be the guy that's just, again, kind of just getting the spot minutes. He's coming in, giving the hard foul to Jokic. But I do like the idea of him coming in and being a guy that can make an impact immediately. I think he's a guy that can come in and be, a 10 to 15 point a game guy. Right, which as a backup big man is perfect. I also think he can go get you, 8 to 10 rebounds a game just because of his size alone. Right, and I think, if you properly utilize him, he can make plays out of the post, his ability to pass out of the post, as well as just defend at the rim. And be a deterrent at the rim. I think could go a long way. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? Are you glad that the Lakers are working out Zach Edey at 17? Do you think no? Why are you doing that? Stay away from Zach Edey. Go with whoever, whichever guy you want, Ware, Holmes, whomever. I feel whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.